Fox 10 News now, and we are going live to a situation in Phoenix near I-10 and Watson Road. And we don't know all the details here yet, but what we do know is that this is in the Far West Valley, and there's a police situation near I-10 and Watson Road. We're hearing that it started with a DPS pursuit, and several schools in the area are on lockdown right now. Buckeye PD is working to set up a command post in the area, and we have a crew on the way to the scene. So right now we are just going to go live to the footage and give you an update here as soon as we know more. What we're looking at right now are, again, this is just SkyFox footage of a residential neighborhood. There's a large number of police units in the area. So you can see them going all up and around that particular street. We don't know the details yet. Like I said, that there was a DPS pursuit that got in near the area of some schools and forced those all on lockdown. So we will update you on this as we get more information. There's some more police over on that particular road. Hard to tell if they're just blocking the street there or if it looks like that vehicle, that one may not be a police vehicle, so I'm not sure if that was involved in the police chase or not. So again, we are streaming live pictures from SkyFox in the West Valley near I-10 and Watson, where a DPS chase resulted in several schools being placed on lockdown and a huge number of police vehicles in the area. Not entirely sure what authorities are doing out there. We've seen multiple vehicles, especially in this neighborhood. We are waiting for more information, and when we have that, we will let you know just as soon as we do. So we understand that Buckeye PD is helping DPS and the FBI look for a suspect. We don't know much more than that. These vehicles just made their way through a neighborhood there. Assuming authorities are either trying to get them to safety or just making sure the suspect is not on board one of those, since those do not look like police vehicles. We understand that the FBI is the lead agency on this particular effort out there, which is interesting situation. Doesn't give us much more other than there's obviously a serious concern over whoever this is and the nature of the suspect in the situation out there. So again, the FBI is apparently the lead agency in charge. Again, we are watching live footage from SkyFox. There are 5 cars here that were moved through a residential neighborhood by authorities and are now leaving onto main streets. A school in the area and possibly part of a neighborhood are on lockdown right now. We understand that those vehicles might actually be officers in unmarked vehicles leaving the area. The FBI is leading a search from a command post out there, searching for a suspect. It started with a DPS pursuit earlier today and ended up in a residential area. And we are working to get more information. We have a crew on its way out to the scene, and in the meantime we are monitoring the different police organizations and the video from SkyFox, and we'll bring you more information as we get it. See a police vehicle there moving through a wash as they continue to search for this suspect. If you are in the area and you know anything about this or have any information or pictures related to this, you can of course send those to us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Fox10Phoenix. Tweet them to us at Fox10Phoenix. Or we are streaming this live on our YouTube channel, and you can go there and leave comments for us there if you know anything about this particular situation. Sometimes it takes longer to get information from the different police departments and authorities there than just people in the area. So of course, be safe and don't take any risks. But if you're in the area and you know something about what's going on, we would love to hear from you. All right, again, we are watching Skycam footage of a police search. This is the police, the Department of Public Service, Buckeye PD, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation searching for a suspect in the West Valley. And we have at least one school on lockdown. This was recently posted about 20 minutes ago on the Facebook page for Yunker High School. And Yunker High School is in Buckeye on South Apache Road. And the message reads, "Dear parents, it's the goal of the administration, staff, and our school police officer to provide a safe learning environment for all students and staff on the Yunker campus. Today at 2 p.m., Yunker High School received a phone call from the Buckeye Police indicating that a potentially dangerous suspect was in the area and advised local schools to go into lockdown as a safety precaution. I'm happy to report that all of our students are safe and law enforcement is on site and taking charge of the situation. We take the safety of our students and staff very seriously and will continue to take every precaution to ensure that our campus is safe and secure at all times." And that is from Carrie Klein, the assistant superintendent. So that is from the Yunker High School Facebook page. And I elected to read that to you rather than go to the Facebook page itself, but I will be monitoring that for any updates. Right now we're looking at some agents, quite well armed, and looks like FBI logos on their vests. So waiting to see what happens there. So we're still not sure exactly details on the suspect they're looking for, but they are obviously extremely concerned to bring out this many agents and that much firepower in their pursuit of him. So they take this very seriously, so we do as well. So we will continue to gather information and keep you apprised as we learn it.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello, Troy. Thank you for joining me. Troy Hayden, you have a lot more experience with this kind of situation than I do, so I appreciate you hopping in here.
Oh yeah, no, I'm very interested in what's going on here. I mean, anytime you're dealing with high school and high school students and a number of young people, and then as we're watching this right now, we're watching. How much have you done on this so far? Have you set the stage for what we're doing here?
Yeah, so I've told them where it is in the West Valley,
Okay.
and that we have at least 2 schools that I'm aware of on lockdown.
Right.
But beyond that, that's about all I know. So we're watching these agents right here, but I'm not that familiar with sort of what they're doing in this particular.
Okay, let's start by talking about SWAT teams in general. Now, I have spent a lot of time with SWAT agencies. Just the way these guys are walking right now, that's telling me they're not at their highest point of readiness. Okay, they've got all different types of readiness. So right now, they're on a basic kind of a low impact, look around type deal. At least this group that we're seeing here, these 3 guys right here. So look at that, isn't that kind of cool? So one guy kind of squatted down there. The other guy's using him as kind of a stepping stool to get up and look over this backyard. So obviously what they're doing is they're going through the neighborhood, house to house, just trying to see what they can see. Your SWAT team members in general are trained in different types of procedures, almost paramilitary in a way, where they can go in and assault a home or assault some sort of a building or even like a field or whatever they need to get into to find their suspects. They're trained in different use of weapons. Oftentimes SWAT teams have their own sniper that is with them. Obviously they can take somebody out if they had to from across the street or something like that, but most often a SWAT team member, and this is another using this tactic again, where the guy is kind of squatting down and somebody else is using him as kind of a step stool to go over. Okay, they're actually entering this backyard here, which is interesting. They must have some sort of information, I would think, for them to enter this backyard the way they are. Maybe they're looking back into a second backyard. That's probably what they're doing. I don't know if he's going to go all the way over there.
So do we know anything about the suspect they're searching for? This is the first time I've seen the FBI involved in a neighborhood search like that, at least in my limited experience here. So what kind of person would bring the FBI in like this in a full neighborhood search?
Yeah, it is odd seeing FBI special weapons units, and you hate to speculate on what we're talking about here because there's all sorts of things that can happen that can bring the FBI in. Most often we see something, bank robberies, that falls under federal jurisdiction. Somebody may have committed a crime in Nevada and driven over to here, and that falls into FBI. So it's not necessarily this white-collar crime, or it's not necessarily FBI 10 Most Wanted or whatever to bring out FBI agents, but we really don't have any information right now as to who they're looking for. Just that, that it is impacting this neighborhood out in Buckeye, and it is interesting to watch these guys as they go about their business.
So now, what are the people in that neighborhood going through? I mean, I don't see anyone outside. Do they go through?
I certainly wouldn't be outside. Would you? Usually, the first thing they'll say is, "Get in your home. Get in your home. If you see anything, call us, but don't go out. And don't go out. And this is a really pretty neighborhood here. I mean, these are some nice homes. Don't go out and try to talk to anybody who's out there walking on the streets or confront them in any way." Because obviously they think they're dealing with somebody pretty dangerous.
But have they probably gone door to door and knocked on everyone's doors to tell them to stay in their homes, or do they go through on a speaker, or could somebody be watching TV, suddenly go out their front door and get the scare of a lifetime?
I haven't seen any knocking, and I would imagine it'd be the latter there. I mean, you come walking out, and all of a sudden there are FBI SWAT team members, or special weapons and tactics units from the FBI on your neighborhood. You got to wonder what's going on. I think that guy. I think it says police on the back of his jacket there, and you'll see that a lot. These SWAT team guys will go out in unmarked units, and in the back of their pickups, they open that cover up on the back. The guy standing on the top of the cover of his pickup, just loaded with weapons and armor and all his gear, so that at any second he can, be out to a scene. Then oftentimes they'll all get into those big wagons, the big, tank type things, and they'll go into a scene where they're not getting injured.
We just saw an agent who looked like he was just wearing like a windbreaker with FBI on it. He was the one who was previously with some of these men as they were going over the fence. What is his role compared to the people who are in full body armor?
Well, I kind of thought, and I just saw him, with the black one, the guy was standing on the back of the truck we were just talking about. I thought that said police. Did it say FBI? Because I didn't see it.
I wasn't sure just the way it was.
Oftentimes you'll get different agencies that are involved, and, different jurisdictions will come together. It doesn't happen all that often. Buckeye does have its own police department, so it's possible it's a Buckeye police officer who just got called out to the scene or may work out there or something. But anything we talk about now is going to be just a guess. But again, these aren't guys that are crouching down and getting behind cars and rolling, to where they're in a real tactical stance.
Right.
They're just kind of walking around. I always think, I used to report from up in the helicopter, and you can tell so much from the body language of the police officers or any investigators who are out there. When they think something's going down, they act totally different than this. I mean, this is not a typical, you just don't have 3 SWAT guys standing together. It looks like they're shooting the breeze on the corner.
Well, that's interesting to me, because if they really don't know where this guy is and they're peeking over walls, so they're like, well, he could be here, I guess I would expect them to be on a little bit more heightened or a little bit more alert. But like you said, they look pretty relaxed.
Fairly relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just don't know. I mean, maybe this guy is a fugitive, but it's not like he's taking pot shots at officers, or, you know what I'm saying? Who knows if he's hurt anybody, or if he is just somebody who they may think is not that dangerous. But at the same time, you don't want to take any chances. So that's why they get their top guys out there, Because like I said, these guys are trained, and I haven't done any work with the FBI's special units like this. Matter of fact, I'm not sure I've seen them operate very much here in the Valley. But when you go out with the sheriff's deputies, the sheriff's department, and those guys, they're trained to go right into a house. Matter of fact, we went one time after a fugitive where they rolled up in the big tank, and they let me sit in the front seat so I could stay out there. But they got up there and they hit their thing, sheriff's department, sheriff's department, sheriff's department. The next thing you know, they're at the front door, bam, knock it open, they go inside, flashbang grenades, boom, disorient anybody inside the house. And they had them out in like 30 seconds. And that's the kind of stuff they're trained to do. This is not that sort of an operation, as we can see.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of vehicles earlier, which I guess may have been unmarked vehicles, like the one you were talking about, where there could be a lot of weapons and, sort of their...
See, this guy looks like police to me. This guy in the black. Does that say police on his back of his shirt?
I'm squinting and I can't tell.
Yeah, tough to see. Yeah, I think it does.
That does say police.
Yeah, so obviously they've got FBI, and who knows, he could be Buckeye police. I don't even know who he's with. But maybe they did just go up to that door in that area. It's kind of a funky vantage point, being right up on top of them like that.
Now, for them on the ground, do they care about, say, news helicopters and so on overhead? Is that just part of the way this works now, or...?
Yeah, I mean, in the past, we have been asked to back off. But generally, that's when you're in a standoff situation and somebody's inside a home and it's news time, and so they can get a bead on who's coming over the back fence. And, of course, we cooperate with that when we're asked to do that. But I don't think we're at that point right now. I mean, not with these guys just kind of walking around. But it is going to be interesting to find out. That's a gun, John, right there. Yeah,
nope,
he pulled his gun and had it up underneath, probably under a car or under something there. He was taking a look, but
even though, like you said, they're rather relaxed, I'm sure they are not remotely messing around if they think they hear or see something.
Yeah, and looks like this guy's going back into his vehicle. I don't know if he's putting his stuff away. Looks like maybe a couple of them are. Yeah, they're leaving the scene. Maybe they all are. Yeah, looks like they're opening up their vehicle too. But again, unmarked, and a lot of firepower in that Suburban coming down the street.
Oh, I am sure.
You would not want to mess with those guys.
What do you know? You said you hadn't gone out with the FBI specifically. What kind of presence do they have in the Valley? Like how?
FBI?
Yeah.
Oh, a whole bunch of investigators. I know that. But I mean, I really, I've been here over 20 years, and I can't remember a lot of times of seeing FBI SWAT type units that are in full tactical gear like this. It says FBI on them. Maybe we've seen them in the past, but maybe they just got new, uniforms that show them more clearly as FBI. But that's interesting. It'll be, I'm sure we'll find out here in the next hour or two. But then again, we might not. I mean, federal agencies don't talk to us the way police agencies do, local police agencies. They just don't, traditionally.
Well, I understand Buckeye PD and DPS is involved in this, so perhaps we'll hear something more from them. So.
And they're driving, maybe they're going to another neighborhood. A lot of times somebody will have called or said, hey, I saw somebody walking, or they've gotten some sort of report and they have to go check it out, and they don't know for a fact that that's what they've got. But it's not like they're speeding out of the neighborhood and going to another location. Maybe they're just going to go to another area. But it's like a fairly new neighborhood too, doesn't it? It's like there's some parts that aren't built up yet.
Yeah, there were a lot of washes. There was that rear vehicle right there was going through a wash earlier, kind of off-roading. And then there were some marked vehicles that went off into some of the undeveloped areas. So,
well, Buckeye took the brunt of the the recession and the building boom. I mean, Buckeye was like a boom town on the edge of the valley, and so many subdivisions going up and up and up and up, and then they just kind of stopped. So it looks like they're driving through one of those, unfinished subdivisions right now, with possibly a newer high school out there too, one that I hadn't heard of. But looks like they're leaving this neighborhood. Well, there's a police unit right there. So maybe they do have part of that neighborhood kind of blocked off as we're watching the SWAT units come out. But we do know there are a couple schools on lockdown. Unknown nature of this crime or the person they're looking for, but it's obviously there's a small park as they're leaving. They're passing by a small park. Doesn't appear to be anybody in that park.
Yeah, Yunker High School posted on their Facebook page that they were on lockdown and all of their students were safe, and
Good.
that military or law enforcement was on the scene. And
is that what they're giving us the all clear? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, someone commented, Alfredo Pacheco commented on our YouTube channel that he got an email saying that...
From Dr. Christy, move your thing, Sandvik?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's the principal.
So that's Inca, Sundance, and Jasinki have been given the all clear. But on the Yunker High School Facebook page, they said they would post when they were all clear, and so far they have not.
This is a whole neighborhood that never got built. And, there's so many of these out in that area. Cause like I said,
that one area is completely filled in, and it's right next to...
So you wouldn't think it'd be hard to find somebody in the big open area, but obviously at the very bottom of your screen you can see there's a police unit sitting in that neighborhood, and at least one, I can't see, maybe a couple of them out there. But that's a fairly small little development there, maybe 100 houses, so maybe they'll go through and check that out.
So then I wonder now, because there were a lot of vehicles that were out on those roads leading into that area within that development, if they're just going to kind of lock that off if they've searched the area and they feel it's safe, or you're going to take the entire search elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to do, too. Think about what they're up against. If somebody did run into one of those houses, and let's say the people are at work and they went in through a sliding glass door or broke a window in the back or whatever. I mean, if it wasn't obvious that it had a broken window, how are you going to tell if somebody's in there?
Right.
Somebody's not calling, and heaven forbid you've got somebody inside one of those places who maybe is impacted by this. We have no information that tells us that's what we're dealing with here. But.
And there was a wash that just went off the top of our screen there that's on the edge of this particular community, and that's where that truck was. So I don't know if there's some scrub brush down there. If he went out through there, then that could provide some cover as well. So.
Right. But then again, we don't even know who we're talking about here. We don't even know what this person is all about.
Nope.
But we're watching it.
Yeah. I appreciate you joining me and giving me your background here.
You got it. Hey, if anything happens, grab me and I'll come out
do
again.
That.
All
Thank you, Troy.
Thanks, man.
So we'll stick with this a little while longer until we get an update. We have one of our reporters at the scene, Mark Martinez, and he's going to try to get some more information, and we'll try to do a live shot with him if he can get more detail on what's going on. So we're going to stay with this aerial information, or this aerial shot, and I'm going to go work on getting you some more information on what's actually happening out here in the West Valley, where we have at least one school, possibly more, still on lockdown as a result of search for a suspect by the FBI, Department of Public Service, and the Buckeye Police Department. We're continuing with SkyFox live video of a search for a suspect in the West Valley, in the Buckeye area, where FBI, DPS, and Buckeye police have been going through a neighborhood and searching for someone. We don't know the details on who they're searching for. We don't know much more than that. There were numerous unmarked vehicles in the area. We saw FBI agents going through the neighborhood, looking in backyards in full SWAT gear. There's a number of vehicles there you can see out in the desert in a wash. That is a law enforcement vehicle right there that we saw earlier. And several schools in the area are on lockdown as a result of this. We understand that everyone at those schools, including Yonker High School, is safe, according to a post on their Facebook page, but we don't know much more than that at this time. So we are working with our contacts in law enforcement. We do have a reporter on the scene, so we'll hopefully have some more information for you shortly. Seeing this is right on the edge of a development there in Buckeye. It looks like it's one of those developments that was really booming before the housing bubble popped. There are a lot of roads that do not have houses on them yet, and this was a road that just dead ends right in this wash, and we don't know if the suspect could have possibly escaped out into this desert area or not, but it doesn't look like law enforcement is taking any chances, and they are out there searching for them. So we are monitoring the situation, and we will let you know more as soon as we have it. So we're now seeing that a canine unit is out in the wash with this particular vehicle. We don't know which agency they're with or what the particular dog is searching for, if they're trying to track the suspect directly, or if It's a dog trained to track something else. We're going to keep an eye on this particular situation here and see what they brought out this canine unit to search for. Again, this is for a suspect search in the West Valley involving 3 different law enforcement agencies. So we now have a canine unit going through a wash with his handler and someone else behind him. Not sure what they're looking for, or if they're just canvassing the area in general, or if they're looking for something in particular and they've got specific lead that they're trying to follow up on. So again, this is Jeff Moriarty with Fox 10 News Now. We're bringing you a live feed from our SkyFox news helicopter. There is a suspect search in the West Valley near Watson Road and I-10 in Buckeye. And the FBI, Buckeye PD, and DPS have been on the scene. They were a little while ago searching a neighborhood, going door to door and looking at people's backyards. And you can see the subdivision over there in the upper right of your screen. And now what we're looking at is a canine unit that's going through a wash. And we're not sure what they're looking for there, but you can see the canine unit and an officer behind them as they're searching some of the scrub brush. So we think maybe they are looking for the suspect if he escaped through there. And we have a reporter on the scene who will be joining us shortly with some more information. Okay, so we have one of our reporters, Mark Martinez, on the scene with one of the public information officers for Buckeye PD. So, Mark, what have you learned so far out there?
Yeah, we're live in Buckeye right now, just off the Watson and I-10, where we are getting the very latest information on the search for this suspect. Joining us right now is Officer Tamala Skaggs with the City of Buckeye Police Department. Officer, if you can tell us right now, what is the latest with the search, and why are they looking for the suspect in the first place?
Yes, at about 1:30 this afternoon, we got information from DPS that they were in a high-speed pursuit on the Interstate 10 heading west. That pursuit actually got off at the Watson exit here in Buckeye. And ended in the neighborhood off of Watson and Durango Road, which is near a couple elementary schools. At the end of that pursuit, three suspects bailed. 2 are in custody at this time. They are still searching for one suspect. That suspect is described as a black male wearing a blue shirt and has tattoos around his neck. The information on why that pursuit even started, I don't have that information.
What should people do if they see someone who matches this description? We saw a very large search going on in these neighborhoods. If someone sees somebody with that description, what's the next step?
If you see anybody matching that description, again, black male, I believe about 5'8", tattoos around his neck, blue shirt, to contact 911. Whatever agency that 911 goes to, we will get it to the correct people.
At this point, do we know if the suspect is considered armed and dangerous, or just someone you really should not approach?
Yeah, we're not sure on if he's armed and dangerous at this time. Make sure you think about it that he may be. Just again, contact 911 if you see that person.
We know several schools in the area, Yonker High School, others were on lockdown during all of this. What is the status of the lockdown?
The police department has lifted that lockdown right now, so the students can be out of school. It is the time to get out of school. There's a large police presence at those schools to ensure the students' safety, get them in their cars and out of the school at that time. But there still is a search going on.
So this search still active. If people see this person, call 911, of course. Any idea how long this search will be going on? Is it going to be something that's open-ended?
I'm not sure at this time.
And the FBI, also DPS, involved in this search?
Correct, yes.
Great. Thank you so much, Officer Skaggs, for filling us in on the latest of this search for the suspect here. Again, that is the latest. As we know, that search still continuing on. We have heard quite a few sirens in the background while we were doing that interview, but we're not quite sure if that means anything or if it's just other resources coming into the scene to help in this search. Of course, we are here on the scene. When we find out more information, we will bring it to you right here on Fox 10 News Now. Reporting live, I'm Mark Martinez in Buckeye. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Mark. And we're going to go back to the footage here, the live SkyFox footage. So again, they are searching for a black male wearing a blue shirt with tattoos on his neck. We don't know the reason that he is being, why they're searching for him. This is part of a pursuit 2 people are in custody, and this is the one remaining person they are searching for. And you just heard from Mark Martinez. You can follow him at MarkFox10 if you want to get more updates on what he learns out there. And we will continue to monitor his Twitter account and others to give you updates on what's going on. So it does look like the school lockdowns have been lifted, according to Buckeye PD. But they are still searching for this individual, and we will continue to monitor this search and bring you more information as we have it. Again, we are still continuing with this live streaming from SkyFox of the search for a suspect in the West Valley. Previously, we had several schools on lockdown in the Buckeye area, and those lockdowns have been lifted, but multiple agencies are still searching for what we understand is a black male wearing a blue shirt with tattoos around his neck. There were 3 suspects in a pursuit. 2 have been apprehended, and this one suspect is still on the loose. We're looking at here is a canine unit. We don't know with which agencies with specifically, but he is searching the wash. There were previously FBI agents and other law enforcement officials in the wash searching for the suspect, and now this canine unit, and you can see there's one other officer behind them, are out searching. We have a reporter on the scene, Mark Martinez, and he gave us a kind of a brief update with some of that information I just shared with you there, and if we get anything new on this, we will let you know, and we will stay with this as long as it looks like there's activity going on out there. Again, this is in the Buckeye area near I-10 and Watson. The FBI is leading this particular search. I had Troy Hayden on earlier talking about his experience working with multiple agencies and their different search efforts in situations like this around the valley. He said it's pretty unusual, even in his considerable experience, to see the FBI, and they were out in full SWAT tactical gear, searching for the suspect. They were looking over block walls in a residential neighborhood before they stood down and got back in their vehicles. And again, now this seems to be the focal point of the activity. So we don't know much more than that about the suspect. We don't know the nature of the pursuit. That was not shared with us, but we are continuing to work the situation, and we will bring you more as soon as we know. But for the meantime, we will continue this live stream. And if you have any questions, or if you're in the area and know anything about this, please let us know. And Buckeye police have confirmed that all schools, the lockdown has been lifted. So all of the Buckeye schools that were previously locked down are now completely lifted. Okay, it looks like SkyFox has left the scene, and we are going to go back to some other stories here. We will let you know if anything happens. If we get any updates, that was the scene of a manhunt in the West Valley, the far West Valley, where the FBI, DPS, and Buckeye police were searching for a suspect who was on the loose. And that is a black male wearing a blue shirt with tattoos around his neck. And if anyone sees him, they are advised to call 911 immediately, and they will route that to the proper location. So, with some other updates that we have for you today. So, first thing is the Sydney hostage update. So, there's a 16-hour situation in Sydney where a gunman went into the Lint Cafe and held several people hostage. It ended with 3 people dead. The Sydney police say the Iranian-born man took several people hostage, and they ended the siege by storming the cafe. 2 people and the gunman were killed. So for a while earlier today, we weren't sure whether the gunman survived or not, but he apparently has indeed been killed. 4 others were wounded, including a police officer who was shot in the face. And today's attack is a reminder that terrorism is still a threat around the globe. And President Obama spoke about that threat while visiting troops in New Jersey. And I have a clip of his remarks here, which I will get queued up.
This year is also a reminder that even as our combat mission ends in Afghanistan, there's still challenges to our security around the globe. In times of crisis, people around the world look to one nation to lead, and that is the United States of America. Even our critics, when they get into trouble, they're calling us. And when the world calls on America, we call on you, our men and women in uniform, because nobody can do what you can do. One news article said it best: when our forces train here, folks who live nearby might feel the ground shake, because no other military in the world is as good as you, as ready as you, as capable as you, able to go as far, able to go as fast as you do, and perform your basic missions. Nobody. Nobody in history has been able to do what you've done.
Okay, now I want to update you on some local stories. We had a crash that's an annoying sound there. Let me pull that sound down. This is some video for a crash that snarled traffic during the Friday morning rush hour. It's a deadly crash on the I-10 at Baseline, and a 16-year-old girl was killed in that particular crash. And today we've learned that an arrest has been made in that accident. Robert Lopez was booked into jail on second-degree murder charges, and police say he was driving on the I-10 Friday when he crashed, and a passenger in the backseat was killed. DPS says that you can see the footage here of how far back that disruption went Friday morning. And DPS says Lopez was impaired at the time of the crash. All right. Now shifting into a bit more of a holiday mode, but still rather a rough story. A Phoenix neighborhood on the lookout for vandals. Someone is actually going around slashing inflatable decorations at several homes in Phoenix, and it's happening near 43rd Avenue and Happy Valley Road. And Fox 10's Jessica Flores was out there talking to people who live in the neighborhood. So let's hear from her and what she discovered out there.
43rd Avenue in Alameda, and if you drive around this neighborhood, you're going to see this. Several decorations decorations just deflated on the ground. Neighbors woke up Saturday morning to find dozens of decorations with a big slash in them. And now they're wondering who's behind the damage. Jim Donahue put up his yard decorations hoping to bring extra Christmas cheer to his grandkids. But vandals are trying to crush that holiday spirit, going around at night slashing inflatable decorations all around this North Phoenix neighborhood.
You're harming like a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, that's who we put them up for, and it's just a shame that they're taking away the Christmas spirit from them.
A snow globe here, a penguin next door, down the street, a snowman.
My son pointed it out, and I started looking. I go, wait a minute, that's been cut. And then that's when I realized that, oh, okay, I know what happened.
Neighbors believe the culprits are teenagers driving around at night.
I don't know what happened to, used to TP a house or ring a doorbell and run, but, I wish they'd go back to those old games, at least it doesn't hurt anybody.
One neighbor here came home to find his inflatable penguin slash. So he drove around the neighborhood to see how many other neighbors were targeted by vandals. He says he counted 10 to 15 other inflatables just like this one popped.
We just went down our streets, and it's kind of sad to see somebody ruin Christmas for people.
But these kids aren't letting a couple of Scrooges ruin their holiday fun. They use this damaged Christmas decoration to have their very own snow day. Still, this grandpa is determined to get decorations for his grandkids up once more.
Papa will get a new one, okay?
Now, these decorations, they go from anywhere from about $30 to some more than $100, but it's not so much the cost that's upsetting these neighbors. It's the fact that someone would do this during the holiday season. Now, many neighbors say they'll be keeping an eye out for the culprits, and some putting surveillance cameras up. Reporting in Phoenix, I'm Jessica Flores, Fox 10 News.
All right, thank you, Jessica. And now we're going to go from a Grinch stealing Christmas to a group of people who are working to make the holidays a lot brighter for a local volunteer. Discount Cab teamed up with Pioneer Elementary in Gilbert to donate a Christmas tree to a school volunteer who recently lost his home in a fire. So we're going to go take a look at what this was like for this man and bring that video up for you right here.
We were doing a 12 Trees of Christmas giveaway, and we wanted to give you a tree for the holidays. So just want to say happy holidays and a very Merry Christmas.
For 12 years you've been giving to our community, and our community has been reaching out to you, and we have another check for you and some notes from students and gift cards that we just wanted to present to you today. So thank you again, Mr. Campbell.
Yes, I had a fire, and I lost almost everything. I did find a few odds and ends and a few papers I needed, but otherwise it's all gone. I don't know what to say.
That's fine. You don't have to say anything.
I'm not used to this.
You're not, huh? Are you kind of overwhelmed by this?
I'm overwhelmed. That's it.
That's it.
And that's a wonderful story. Much nicer than the Grinch one that we had earlier. Now, our big question is Santa Claus with the Cardinals going to have a gift for them or some coal this week? Come on in, Jude. Bring in Jude LaCava here and talk Cardinals. So, getting all plugged in there. Come on over,
Jeff, and we're ready to roll here. We're getting a lot of action.
Get into the shot here. Come on over. Let's get cozy.
Let's get right in here. Yes, this is like a Cessna. You got to get this thing flying, get the wings up and ready to roll. I'm getting a ton of action right now on Twitter. And the question I've posed out there is, what do you think about the Cardinals starting Ryan Lindley, a third-string quarterback? Biggest game of the regular season, I think, really going back to 1998 when they had to beat the Chargers to get in. And I'm getting all kinds of, this particular person is saying, God help us. Linda Myers says, here it is. Here's Linda right here. God help us. If you can see her, there's Linda. So if you want to tweet during the show, feel free. I think that's kind of intriguing. What I find interesting, Jeff, is just how passionate fans are one particular fan, and this comes from a guy named Shark. He's jumped out there and he says, you know, in Fantasy League, as you know, is big business. He goes, I am starting the Seahawks defense against the Cardinals. And this is Shark. You can see it right there.
Wow.
And look, there's a lot of people that are questioning the Cardinals, and I get that. Even the wise guys in Vegas, by the way, have set the line at 7. That might move to 7.5, 8 by the end of the week. So what's interesting with the Cardinals from a perception standpoint, and that's what a betting line is perception, they are underdogs in their own home stadium against the Super Bowl champs. And normally you get 3 points if you're at home, but now they're going in at least 7, maybe 8 points by the end of the week as an underdog to the Super Bowl champs, with a guy who's had 4 career starts in Ryan Lindley, and Bruce Arians, who plays this underdog card better than anybody, is a guy that says, listen, we beat the Rams when nobody thinks, they thought that we could beat the Rams last Thursday. We have the best record in the NFC. We lost Carson Palmer. We lost Drew Stanton. So don't put it past us. And it's working right now.
So are you a believer now? Because I believe last week you came on here and thought the Cards couldn't do it.
Yeah, I actually said I thought the Rams would win that game. And I said that based on the way they were playing defensively and the fact that Stanton, are starting on the road. But you have to look at momentum and trends. And I think I am a believer in a sense that Bruce Arians has a very unique knack. He's going to be the NFL head coach of the year again this year. He was a couple years ago in Indianapolis when he took over Chuck Pagano. He has a unique way of connecting with his players, playing on emotion and heart, and really looking at this underdog card and saying, yeah, everybody says we can't do it, so let's just go ahead and do it. But this is a daunting task. Ryan Lindley has 4 career starts. It would be like me trying to run our YouTube channel. I would be sitting there looking at hieroglyphics, hitting buttons, and the thing would explode. Lindley is a talented guy. He's got a big arm. He's been around the league a few years. But experience in any profession means everything. How do you see the speed of the game coming at you? How do you react? How many reps do you get this week in practice? It's a lot to ask, but it's possible if they play a grinded out defensive game, get a little play or 2 on special teams, maybe create a turnover or 2, maybe you see a 17-10 game in favor of the Cardinals.
There are a lot of maybes in those previous couple sentences of yours.
Very astute, I might add. I'm a maybe kind of guy when it comes to a game like this. This game means so much. I mean, Jeff, if the winner of this game has home field all the way through to the Super Bowl, the winner of this game wins the toughest division in football, the NFC West. This is huge.
All right. And we are looking at Twitter comments. We have been getting some score predictions here. Todd says 13-9 Seattle, but he hopes he's wrong. That doesn't sound very optimistic to me.
I love those people that kind of cover their bets. I'm going to pick Seattle, but I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. We're also streaming this live on our YouTube channel, and you can leave us comments there. We will watch for those if you have any thoughts or predictions on the Cards. So, do you think that Lindley's the best QB, or do you think there's another option here? Because is there anybody? Is your name been thrown around? Because
my name has been thrown around.
Yeah.
I've got a flag football resume from many years ago. Kurt Warner's name. You wanted me to talk about Kurt Warner. I think Kurt. Interesting text to a very good friend of mine that said Kurt was losing sleep, thinking that what if they called me and I want to drop some plays, and I think he's kind of like the old lion that still thinks he's got a little bit left 5 years after the fact. That there's no chance with that, and I don't want to destroy the bubble here with some fantasy or like a Disney movie. Kurt Warner comes back and he throws the winning touchdown. It's not going to happen. I think Lindley's the best option based on the fact that Logan Thomas is a rookie. Lindley's been around the system, and I think if you're playing it close to the vest, knowing what they've got right now, it's the best available option. Now, let me give you some good news. Drew Stanton, I was over practice today. He was walking around. He's the guy that was injured with the knee injury against St. Louis, partial tear of the ACL. Could be anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, but he was on the bike. I watched him walk off the practice field, very little limp, and this is promising in the sense that worst case scenario, he could be ready with a brace. They have these new very unique ACL braces. He could play maybe in the next 2 to 3 weeks, which would make him eligible to play first playoff game. So that, I think, nobody wants to jump out there and say that, but I will on News Now. I think there's a chance he could be ready for playoff game number 1. The Niner game the following week doesn't mean much. What it means everything is this Sunday against Seattle.
Okay, so you have no faith. So I pulled up let's switch over to the comeback Kurt hashtag, which is, of course, still trending.
I want to make a comeback. I really want to make a comeback. To what, I don't know, but I want to make a comeback. You know, I mean, everybody wants to make a comeback. You know, everybody wants to be 25 again.
Well, it's a great dream, but I mean, realistically, and Kurt was a fantastic player.
Great player.
Obviously, everybody loves him. But how old is he now?
He's 43. He's 5 years removed from his last hit, and the speed of the game. You know, there's a big difference from 38 to 43. You know that as you approach your own 40s. And we don't have to get into that segment of the show. Jeff slowed down a little bit, but mentally as sharp as ever.
Give or take. So we have people now. I mean, again, the Kurt Warren. I mean, people are tweeting at him.
God wants you on the
Chris
floor.
Leyak sending him Hoosiers clips.
That is great. I like that stuff. That's hilarious.
You know, you have all the memes have taken
hilarious.
off.
Good stuff. Come back, Kurt. Yeah, man. You know, listen. Like I said, if I was scripting out a Disney movie, I would write the script. But it's you know, the speed of the game, the conditioning to come in a week or two would be, you know, outlandish. I mean, George Blanda did it many years ago, and he played in his late 40s for the then Oakland Raiders. We need you. Mattress commercials. Come back, Kurt.
Yeah.
Now you know it's a real reach.
Well, once there's a billboard up, I mean, how can you say no once you're on a billboard?
Mattress company. How do you say no to a Sealy Posturepedic? You know?
Yeah. No, but to be clear, I guess this billboard isn't actually saying they need him to play football. They might need him, in the mattress showroom. Maybe they need some heavy mattresses moved.
Yeah, you know, something in maybe a Sealy. I don't know. I don't know my mattresses like I used to. But I look, it's a pipe dream. It was fun fodder on Sports Talk Radio, and we had a little fun with it. But Bruce Arians is going to be a guy that's going to stick with his guys that are in his camp, that are on his roster. And I think what's really unique, Jeff, is that Tom Moore, this guy's like 77 years old. Ron Wolfley has the name for him, call him the quarterback whisperer. And this guy has seen every coverage. He's been around the NFL for 5 decades. You know, he played football, professional football. He's the kind of guy, and I asked Ryan Lindley about him a couple weeks ago, and I said, Ryan, what is it about, you know, this older gentleman on the sidelines with the glasses, and he doesn't say much, and he kind of is always looking at film and tape, and he said he can tell you this is what we did against the, cover 3 zone back in 1982, and this is what worked. He is like Wikipedia. He's the Wikipedia of defensive schemes, and he can say, okay, if they're doing this, then we'll do this with our passing game. He's a brilliant tactician, and he's on Bruce Arians' staff. And this is what gives these guys a little bit of an edge, the knowledge of what Tom Moore can bring you. And that's another fascinating dimension to what Ryan Lindley has to work with.
So, what's your prediction for this game? What do you think is going to you had to put something on the line?
I think this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out affair. I think momentum and emotion will play in favor of the Cardinals and the home crowd. I think Russell Wilson this year has had difficulty on the road, not as effective, and I see one of those kind of like 17-13 wins for the Arizona Cardinals. I just think there's a little bit of destiny that trumps fact right now, and I think Bruce Arians is just a remarkable coach in knowing how to tap into his defense. They'll do just enough to eke out this win. How about that?
Okay, fair enough. And they're going to have, the home field, it's going to be an absolute zoo out there.
Get the audio meter going, because I think it's going to be as loud as it's ever been back to the Kurt Warner days when they beat the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl. The place was going crazy. It's going to be ridiculous. A 747 jet engine times 10. Well, it will be outrageous. It'll be fun. And this is what NFL towns dream about, Jeff. You're playing for a chance to have home field for the Super Bowl. You dream about this. And this has been a franchise that has been kind of the black hole of the NFL. For most of their history here. Look, they came in and we used to call them the old 4-12 Cardinals in the 90s. They had very limited success. It was 4-12 almost every year. Then they had that breakthrough year with Tobin in 98, 99. Then they had the Kurt Warner a couple years.
Yep.
This is a different, transformative organization now with Kaiman Arian. So a hallmark occasion this Sunday in Glendale.
Okay, well, I mean, all those people that were falling off the bandwagon hung on and climbed right back aboard, so it's going to be a heck of a game. So any other final comments or thoughts on
I think that it's going to be interesting, and I would urge our viewers out there to stay with us on digital, because we've got another version of Tyran's Take coming up this week. Tyrann Mathieu.
Nice.
We've got Calais Campbell. And I can't tell you how excited these Cardinal players are, because the bigger the game for most of these guys, the more adrenaline, the more of a rush, the more at stake, the more these guys have a tendency to step up to that moment. So this will be one of those memorable weeks in NFL history in Arizona. There's not a bigger game that's come down the pike than this one on Sunday.
Well, now, I don't know if everyone watching this has seen Tyran's Take. Do you want to give them a quick update? What is
Tyran's
this?
Take is and Jeff really has been my digital mentor here. He's taken a guy that's come from the typewriter era, yours truly, and he's allowed me to use my iPhone and go right into the locker, with this iPhone and get these phenomenal comments from Cardinal players. I mean, it's kind of amazing as I just sort through, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing here. Like when you look at it, I mean, here's Tyrann. This will be posted. You'll hear directly from Tyrann Mathieu when you click on and you have a chance to listen to the Honey Badger. And he's very intellectual when it comes to scheming and projecting the matchup of what's going to play out in these games. So Tyran's Take is Tyrann Mathieu. The guy's kind of a cult hero on the internet. He has 300,000 plus followers at his Twitter handle. So Tyran's Take, Calais Campbell's Take, John Brown's Take. We're doing extra special editions just for you, Jeff, and our viewers out there this week.
Yeah, and these are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Fox10Phoenix. And we post these in the evening, so all the evening crowd can jump in, and they have some very, very vigorous discussions here. And again, that's what I love about this digital media. It lets you do exactly what you said. Get their direct comments, unfiltered, their thoughts, put them up there, and we can all talk about it together, which is exactly what we're trying to do here. So
huge week ahead. This will be fun. I think if you're a casual football fan, you're going to want to be engaged this week.
All right. Well, Jude, thank you very much.
Anytime.
All right. You have a good evening. We'll see your video. You've got a video coming up tonight on our Facebook
Absolutely.
page.
Coach Arians on the underdog role.
The underdog role.
One of my favorite cartoons, by the way. And
Underdog?
I understand. Oh, yeah. I mean,
heck yeah.
See that? See how we connect?
Yeah, see, a lot of kids played Superman, but I tied the towel around my neck and I was underdog jumping down the stairs, which my mother loves to tell anyone she can. Of course, now I guess I did, so my mom can retire that particular embarrassing factoid.
Great cartoon.
So,
Loved
absolutely. All right, thank you, Jude.
You got it, Jeff.
All right, let's take a look at some weather here as we wrap things up. All right, so we've got some possible rain ahead. It's going to stay in the 60s. The wetness should be moving in probably Thursday or Friday. We'll have more information on that and more details with Carrie Lake in the 5 coming up in about half an hour. But some nice cool weather heading into the week of Christmas next week. So thank you very much for joining us here. And this is Jeff Moriarty with Fox 10 News Now. And you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fox10Phoenix, on Twitter, of course, at Fox10Phoenix, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get involved in more of these videos that we are putting out every single day at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Thank you very much.